Welcome to the Week 6 edition of Anytime Touchdown on thehammer.bet. Reminder, not only go to thehammer.bet, but hit the like, sub to the podcast, sub to this video channel as well, and help us all out. Then, I suppose, then you can go to thehammer.bet after getting all the plays for the Anytime Touchdowns this week. Jason at Spartapedia on the line with me to break this all down. Any just off the hop, any super long shots you fancy for any anytime touchdown?
Super long shots, not yet, but I got a guy I like at 5-1 I can start off with.
Yeah, well, let's hit that. I'll jump over to DraftKings Sportsbook and you let me know.
Jaylen Warren on the Pittsburgh Steelers, 5-1. He's backup running back. I think he's slightly more explosive than Najee Harris has been lately. Not that Harris is at risk of losing his job or anything. I just think Warren's shown enough that he deserves to get some touches in that offense.
He will. The issue is, can the Steelers score a touchdown?
I think, I think they'd have to at some point. I mean, even, they even scored a touchdown last night in the Commanders-Bears game.
That seemed impossible, but yeah, I suppose it did have Thursday night, not a place where you want to go for the anytime touchdowns right now.
No.
So you like him to start off with. I suppose if Pat Freiermuth is out in this game, Zach Gentry is coming in at plus 340 as well, and he should run like 85% of the tight end snaps if he's healthy. I know he's dealing with a knee injury as well, but yeah, he would be another look in this game, I think.
What you said Pittsburgh again?
Yeah, no, I was just saying with Zach Gentry, if Freiermuth ends up missing this game for certain and Gentry can actually get in, which it appears like he's trending to play, that he's just going to be out there running routes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's, someone's got to start at tight end. They're going to have to throw the ball a lot in this game, too, especially if they're down. And, we saw Cody Pickett. That's his name, right? I always get it mixed up.
Kenny Pickett.
Kenny Pickett. Cody Pickett was the quarterback at West Virginia when I was in college. I'm never going to get that right. When he came in and scored those rushing touchdowns, I mean, nobody was offering it that week, 2x touchdowns, but he's got a live arm. He's a good quarterback. They're just going to have to let him go out there and sling it and kind of, take the growing pains at this point with a 1-4 record.
I think that's going to be the case as well. I mean, I really enjoyed because he scored the 2 rushing touchdowns in his first game. They were offering him at like 19.5 rushing yards last week. It's like, he doesn't really run. So this actually turns out to be a great case. Like short yardage, sure. Like you might see a sneak, you might see him run it in from the 1, something like that. But I think a lot of that was just a product of he didn't really have a full grasp of the playbook. So it was just like, go and do what you got to do, Kenny, and figure it out. We'll get to this next week. And
that's something I like with the Steelers this week is I like it when we talk about Carolina too, is a lot of times when you give a guy a full week of practice, Skylar Thompson, another quarterback, the over adjustments on quarterbacks when they've had a full week of practice, when the offense has been installed and tailored to what they can and can't do, a lot of times you can find value in those situations, and hopefully we could find some touchdown props that are related to that.
Yeah, they're not offering any anytime touchdown scores right now that I can see with the Panthers and Rams game, which is really strange that they're waiting so deep into the week.
Yeah, sometimes it's just due to injury reasons and stuff. I don't know exactly how they make these decisions, but I do see that the Yankees just took the lead over the Guardians real quick on my other screen. Sorry about that.
They still play baseball? There was just like someone told me hockey had started. I was like, they still run the NHL? I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, there's everything's going on right now. It's gonna be a fun weekend.
So what else are you looking at here? Because I think that something even as strange as like Avery Williams in that Niners Atlanta game. No one wants to play any of the running backs against the 49ers. Their defense is so banged up right now. And Williams is getting his like obligatory 1 to 2 red zone looks every single game on the ground because they refused to turn it over to Algier. And everyone thought it was going to be Caleb Huntley. But all of a sudden, Avery Williams has just been a guy who's been in their offense every single week.
Yeah. I like a couple Falcons players. I've been playing them every week. Drake London doing well. He's cashed for me a couple times. Kyle Pitts He's kind of been missing in action lately. You can get him plus 215 at the moment, but yeah, I'm still on the Kyle Pitts train. I think they're going to figure out a way to get him back in the offense. And you mentioned the 49ers. I bet Kyle Juszczyk still every week. You can get him plus 650. Jimmy G trusts him in the red zone. I think he's a fine anytime touchdown play at 6.5 to 1 every week.
Do we have any more that like you're really uber focused on in week 6, or is it a lot of like, hey, here's a spattering or two of the 5 to 6 to 1 long shots and maybe some hits of some higher end guys that I like, who's like the Kyle Pitts of the world, who, at more than 2 to 1. I mean, if you're betting that every week, you're losing, but you got to think that changes.
Yeah, I think it's I don't know. I couldn't tell you why they've phased him out of the offense early, but they're going to find ways to get him the ball. You have to find ways to get him the ball. Another guy I like in Seattle, Will Dissly, plus 320. He seems to have a good connection with one of my favorite quarterbacks, Geno Smith. I think plus 320 for him is a pretty good price. He scored the first touchdown a couple times too. And let me see if I can find a price here for the Saints real quick.
Yeah, I haven't seen any Saints Bengals as of yet.
No, I was looking for that because Taysom Hill finally had the game I've been hoping he'd be having for a while, with the 3 touchdowns, throwing a 4th. We can't give out any anytime touchdown props on him, but I did bet him to win the offensive player of the year at 150 to 1 this week. When you got a guy with a unique skill set like that, it means he can always kind of do things, and it just takes one more injury or so to get him some snaps at quarterback. And I think he's really live for offensive player of the year, at least at a huge number like that.
The other one I would look at is actually in the Browns and Patriots game. Traquan Thornton is now like getting more and more reps every single week now that he's returned off injured reserve from that broken collarbone. And the pass defense for the Browns is abysmal, just like their run defense. And now they don't have Denzel Ward in this game either. He's plus 850 to score an anytime touchdown. Like, I'm not entirely sure how healthy Nelson Aguilar is. They don't seem to want to commit to Kendrick Bourne full time. It just seems like a warm body on the field with Zappy. I mean, Zappy and Thornton had a connection in the preseason too. That just seemed like a really high number. Like the other guys that he's around in terms of this game, like you have like Anthony Schwartz, who doesn't play, David Bell, who gets like 1 target a week. Like Thornton was someone that they were excited about coming into the season. I would have assumed that they would have priced him at like plus 350, plus 400, 850 seems like a stretch.
I could see this game being one where the Patriots, control the ball and keep it on the ground, and try to keep it out of Bailey Zapp's hands. I think Mac Jones might be starting, or at least he's going to probably be active this week. You never know for sure in New England what's actually going on, but it sounds like Mac Jones is trending towards playing sooner than later.
So yeah, if I have that long shot, I think Thornton is going to be the one that I'm going to roll with this week at plus 850.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I have a really big long shot. You asked what I think for real long shots. Kene Nwangu, the kick returner for the Minnesota Vikings. I think he's one of the best kick returners in football at the moment. 19 to 1 is a bit high. I do expect him to score a touchdown at some point this season. So 19 to 1 is always going to get my attention. Similarly, on Sunday night, one of my favorites, Kavonte Turpin. He almost broke a punt return a couple weeks ago. I think he got caught by the punter, actually. 13 to 1, slightly lower, considering he's likely just a special teams player. But I can't stop betting on my favorite guys. So Nwangu and Turpin both on my card this week at big numbers.
Did Turpin just print for you in USFL? Is that what happened?
No, I didn't really bet a lot of USFL. I bet like correlated parlays or teasers or random stuff. He stood out. I watched him in the preseason game versus the Chargers. He scored on a kick return and a punt return. really stood out for speed there. I figured he's 26, so it's not like they're going to keep him on the bench to develop him. He's prime age to play and contribute. So I expect him to score a kick return or a punt return at some point this season. I just can't predict when. So bet it every week.
Keep letting it ride. Any other final ones that you want to throw on the anytime TD list?
I think it's kind of square, but I don't know how there's not going to be like 8 to 10 touchdowns or some crazy number in this Bills Kansas City game. I think that's just going to be a fun football game. So not so much anything individually there, but I think I would definitely consider parlaying some of these favorites, Kelsey, Diggs, Gabriel Davis, any combination of those guys, Dawson Knox. You can kind of have some fun with some anytime touchdown parlays in that game if you're so inclined.
Yeah, well, hopefully it's not like the playoff game last year where they just all go to Gabriel Davis and they can figure out a way to spread it around, because even someone like Isaiah McKenzie in that game, who's looking more and more like he's gonna play now, is like plus 220 to score a touchdown. So if you're going to get someone who's going to play 90% of the snaps, it feels better than Gabe Davis at minus 110.
Yeah, and Khalil Shakir plus 390. That's a good one.
I feel like that's only good if McKenzie is out, because he's not seeing the field if McKenzie's playing.
Yeah, that's only exactly. It gets to the how many touchdown bets do you want to have sort of thing, But this week I just looking through my stuff, I could see I'm focusing more at the top end as opposed to, guys at the bottom. One last one I like, real fairly long. Skylar Thompson, 6-1 to score a touchdown, starting quarterback for Miami Dolphins. I bet him to win the offensive rookie of the year at 750 to 1 before the season. All I needed was a path to him getting starts. So Skylar Thompson scoring a touchdown or two this week would be a nice boost there. 6-1. Might have to look at the score 2x price. Remember, Cody Pickett just did it a couple weeks ago, so it's not out of the question to see a rookie score 2 rushing touchdowns quarterback.
And the Vikings, I think, have given up 7 rushing touchdowns in like the past 5 weeks, so they're vulnerable on the ground if nothing else.
Yeah, Skylar Thompson, who knows anything about him? I barely know anything about him, and I bet on him to win rookie of the year.
There we are. So hopefully that can come through for you at plus 775. I guess it'd be plus 75,000 or 750. Well, that's some nice foresight.
Yeah, I got that, and I got Geno Smith, same number. So,
well, I don't think he's a rookie. I hope that's not in the rookie of the year market, because
MVP.
They might take that away from him.
MVP, even better. He's I'm not ready to start counting it yet, but he's playing pretty well. It's fun to watch.
He's playing great. Per DVOA, Seattle #1 passing offense in football. So
yeah,
he's doing something right.
I think Pete Carroll, coach of the year, 100 to 1 too is not a bad bet. More realistic than Geno Smith winning MVP. If they do make a playoff run, somebody's got to win an award in Seattle for that.
And maybe they'll just give it to Russell Wilson. Be like, hey, you got out of town. This is great.
Yeah,
it really helped.
He could be Seattle. The MVP for leaving. It's
All right, you can follow Jason on Twitter at Spreadopedia. You can follow me at the PME. We'll see you for the Week 7 anytime touchdowns in a week's time. Until then, continue on the channel by smashing the like and subscribing. But reminder to check out thehammer.bet for all of your football betting needs. I'm Pat Mayo.